Sanko boy policeman a come.
Sanko licky love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko licky love up on the dam and the gala holla murder.
Bip bop police a come and the gala holla murder. Bip bop police a come and the gala holla murder. Sanko kissy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko kissy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Bip bop police a come and the gala holla murder. Bip bop police a come and the gala holla murder. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police are come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman are come.
Sanko chase the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko chase the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder.
Bip bop, police are come and the gala holla murder. Bip bop, police are come and the gala holla murder. Sanko catchy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko catchy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Bip bop, police are come and the gala holla murder. Bip bop, police are come and the gala holla murder. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police are come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman are come.
Sanko squeeze the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko squeeze the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder.
Bip bop, police are come and the gala holla murder. Bip bop, police are come and the gala holla murder. Sanko left the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko left the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Bip bop, police are come and the gala holla murder. Bip bop, police are come and the gala holla murder. Sanko boy,
You better run.
Sanko boy, police are come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman are come. Sanko,
You better run.
Sanko,
Police are come.
Sanko,
You better run.
Sanko.
Police are come.
See my little brown boy calling for me, calling for me, calling for me. See my little brown boy calling for me, baby want to do. See my little brown boy calling for me, calling for me, calling for me. See my little brown boy calling for me, baby want to do. Oh, he can walk, oh, he can talk, oh, he can run, till every levy come home. With his stiff standing collar and his tie to multiply, he's a dashy, a dandy young man.
He's a dashy, a dandy young man.
See my little brown boy calling for me, calling for me, calling for me. See my little brown boy calling for me, baby want to do. See my little brown boy calling for me, calling for me, calling for me. See my little brown boy calling for me, baby want to do. Oh, he can walk, oh, he can talk, oh, he can run, till Sammy Levy come home. With his stiff standing collar and his tie to multiply, he's a dashy, a dandy young man. He's a dashy, a dandy young man. He's a dashy, a dandy young man.
Here Auntie Bess,
Here Auntie Bess, here Auntie Bess, Allah. Here Auntie Bess, here Auntie Bess, here Auntie Bess, Allah. Here Auntie Bess, here Auntie Bess, here Auntie Bess, Allah. Here Auntie Bess, here Auntie Bess, here Auntie Bess, Allah. Here Auntie Bess, here Auntie Bess, here Auntie Bess, Allah. For the morning cock a crow, here
right. Hey, guess what? Good morning. We are broadcasting from Brooklyn, right? Right. Good morning to all of you. We got some things to talk about. Share the link and we'll be back. I'm going to read what's on your minds because, in a struggle, we can't just be part time about it. We've just got to keep constantly banging at the dictators, banging at their rotten foundation because that is what they have, a rotten foundation that is destroying. I repeat, it is destroying the fabric of our nation. And so we've got to stand tall, we've got to be strong, and we cannot give up. So share the link. I'll be right back with some information for you.
Washa hala fa.
Yesha hala, yesha hala, herati besa hala.
Washa hala fa.
Yesha hala, yesha hala, herati besa hala. I feel like a morning star. 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 Here at the best, Allah. Here at the best, Allah. Here at the best, Allah. Here at the best, Allah.
All right, welcome back. It's a special morning program. I'm just here. I'm not going to spend a long time just to say hi to you guys, see how you're doing, and just to remind you of the things that are happening in Guyana. It's unfortunate that those who are on the top, so to speak, politically, they want to basically just cover this thing up, make it look as though we are the bad guys and they are the good guys, the typical stuff. But I'm not going to have any of that. None of that at all. Absolutely none. I'm not going to let these clowns attempt to play us, to play our community. It is not going to happen. How are you guys doing? Look, there's something that I want to talk. I want to touch on something. You guys know there's a lot of things that I want to touch on, right? And so as we talk about this boycott of certain businesses in Brooklyn, those businesses that are disrespectful to our community, leaning and breaking bread with the dictators. Now, this has nothing to do with a quote unquote head of state coming and mingling with people and so forth. It has more to do with disrespecting the community, disrespecting folks of the community. And then guess what? After that, he went right back home, and this is what they're doing to people right there and their businesses. So look at what's happening here, according to newssource.gy. Look at what these people were first told, that they can go there and they could do whatever they have to do there and get their stuff up and running and so forth. So the people went and they invested their monies, right? They probably took a little loan. They probably borrowed money from maybe relatives, who knows? And so after that, look at what is happening. Look at what they're doing to the people. They went 3 o'clock, I believe 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, right after Irfan Ali got back to Guyana, and he said to the people in Brooklyn, some of them, he said to them in Brooklyn, oh, how they love he loves Guyana, and there's really nothing bad that's happening, and he's a president for all Guyanese. But look, as soon as he got back there, look at how many hundreds of people that he's sending on the bread line. I hope some of these earheads who feel that they want to talk about things that happened in the past, and just a bunch of earheads and shallow talks, right? But look at what is happening in the country right now. And majority of the people who are being displaced right now, we know we don't have to second guess. We have our Indian brothers and sisters who are coming out now in their numbers because they're seeing the blatant disrespect against of persons of African descent. That is what what's happening. And we cannot sit by and pretend as though it is not. We cannot turn a blind eye on these things and be afraid to speak out or want to rub shoulders with them in the government because of some sort of favors that people are looking for. No, it should not happen. We should not tolerate that, and therefore we should continue to speak out on these things at every level. We should continue to speak out. But guess what? When we're speaking out, they make it appear, oh, we are bad people. Listen to Tanti Morrow, whatever his new name is, Saddlehead or whatever it is. Whenever that's Barra Jack there, mind you. You must not be afraid to call their name. Barra Jack there. Just listen to when at his so-called press conference, guess what he does? He cusses out everybody, everyone, Tom, Dick, and Harry, everybody. But one of the things that we've got to be mindful, we've got to be concerned. Every person of African descent, he does curse out other folks like a Glenn Lal, like once you're against them, they cuss you out. But they have a special treatment for persons of African descent. Here's the special treatment they have. They are separatists. They are racist and every single thing. Note how he cuss out Lincoln Lewis. Note how he cuss out Dr. David Hines. Note how he cusses out Rickford Burke. Note how he curse out Melly Mel. Note how he curse out, occasionally throw a little tantrum at me. Note how he curse out. And he doesn't do that because of a slight disagreement with what people may have to say. He does it on the basis of race. And based on that, Barra Jagde comes across as a racist. That is why Freddie Kissoon took him to court and named him as an ideological racist. I don't know what happened in the matter. They may have settled. It's up to Freddie to say what happened on that matter. But I played a role behind the scene with Freddie. For people who accuse me of playing roles behind the scene, cut it out. But Freddie Kissoon didn't have all the evidence. He got all of the evidence. We did the research together. He got a lot of the evidence from AGDA and other organizations and persons of African descent. He got all of that information. He put it in a little booklet identifying the racism by the Jack Deere's presidency. All of those things he did. And he printed a little booklet and he took all of the credit. So one day I turned to Freddie and I say, hey, Freddie, because he came over by me almost every day. Every day. I said, Freddie, what happened, man? You make it look as though you alone did all this. Hey, man, rest yourself. Let me go buy Shanta and eat a little food now. You got money? Hey, rest yourself. You always. Right? And I'm just pointing out these things to let you guys be reminded of the hypocrisy by some folks. It was okay for them then, but it's not okay now. And, I want to move on to some other stuff, right? Sorry about that with my Freddie voice. Hey. Reminds me of when we were in the Brickdam lockup. Hey, officer. Hey. I know it's too early. Good morning, guys. What's happening? What are your take on the boycott of those businesses in Brooklyn? Talk to us. Let's talk about that again. Let's talk about it. Let's not shy away from the issue. Let us talk about it. Yeah, sorry. I was looking for some information to share with you guys. Yeah, sorry about that. So what's happening in your neck of the wood? What's happening on Church Avenue? Are you guys still going out and shopping and buying and these sort of things? Y'all still doing that? Are you guys still doing that? Let me know. Let me hear whether you're still on that or you're keeping your money, you're saving your money for some sort of Christmas present for your family members, or maybe you'll bless lemon up with something. Let me see what some of your comments are. Sherwin Green is saying, Freddie, the cookie monster. Stop it. Hey, hey, stop it. Stop it. Faye Anstrap. Why do I know you, Faye? Faye, good morning to you. Faye says she's going to Linda's. Okay. Tell Linda I say hi and get a roti for me by Linda, because at least we know it's done properly, right? Nobody walk off the streets and just run into people's kitchen and start like if you're in a clap hand church. Good morning, all of you guys again. Annette Cummings, how are you doing? Wendy, how are you? Let me call some guys' names too, because they might get vexed. Leighton K. Charles, how are you, sir? Let me stand up and give you a salute. Let me see what Mr. Charles is saying here. Ali didn't go to Brooklyn to discuss issues. Let's put this on the screen so you guys could see what Mr. Leighton Charles is saying here. Ali didn't go to Brooklyn to discuss issues. He went there in a haste to get as many photo ops as possible, then scampered like a rat after the quota was met. Oh yeah, scampered like a rat. Because remember, he was facilitated, from members right within the community who sat and planned this thing, plan how they're going to execute this thing and disrespect the people of Brooklyn, disrespect the Guyanese community. Look at our friend Rhonda. We gotta love Rhonda and show her some love. I haven't seen Rhonda. Maybe I wasn't looking at the comment section. Rhonda, I was beginning to wonder where you were until I heard you this morning on Kadaki's show. Good morning to Kadaki's fans. He has a lot of fans, and if I say anything about Kadaki, they'll go back and talk my name with Kadaki. I'm not saying Rhonda is one of them, but good morning, Rhonda. Really good to see you. So Leighton Charles is correct. All they wanted was a quick drive-through, barge into people's restaurant, barge into people's businesses, for the most part, unannounced. Hi, Maria. Good morning. And how are you doing? Go into people's places unannounced. Right, Karen? Unannounced. And not only that, Roxanne Best, good morning. Now, they got some people, right, Luanda? Good morning to you. They got some people feel, and they're not listening. Some of them don't understand English language. They just turn on the mic on Facebook and just talk whatever comes through their mind or their head. And they don't listen to say that I am not against anybody visiting anywhere, Chetty used to visit businesses in Brooklyn. He has had meeting at Woodbine. He has had meeting at Tilden Ballroom when the previous owner there, a nice guy from somewhere in the West Coast, Barbies, Hector. Hector was the owner of Tilden Ballroom. For some of you who know those sort of things, Hector is now deceased. He did a lot for the community. Even Teach, the owner of Woodbine. They have done so much for the community. Even Sterling Optical on Flatbush Avenue. And lots of these people have been there in the community for decades, and they have done so much, including my then good friend who's now dead, John Blue. Then on 49th Street, they had 49th Street, they had Georgetown Food Market that is now in Atlanta. All of these people did a lot for the community. And they never used to talk, oh, this is what I do for the community. They never used to talk. And those are respectable business people. They have done a lot. That is why the community is so strong, because there was this bond, there was this togetherness. And when you drive around Brooklyn, you run into businesses. There was Sibyl's, my good friend Sibyl, the mother, the woman who created that big eating establishment, Sibyl's. I've known her for the longest while, God bless her soul. So those are people who contributed to the community, and they still continue to contribute. You don't see them doing this foolishness. They respect everybody across the board. That is what businesses ought to be doing. But when you play silly politics, now don't get me wrong, It is okay to have a political affiliation. And some of you who don't understand what I just said there, y'all repeat, y'all let them know what I just said. I am not against people who have a political affiliation that might differ from mine. I don't. People are entitled to that. It is their constitutional right. However, there's an issue when you bring people within your community who do not like your community, especially politicians who disrespect people who make up majority of your community. For example, the disrespect of Irfan Ali and his government, primarily against person of African descent in Guyana. This doesn't mean they do not disrespect and discriminate against others. They do. But when you have people who have a little business and little position that they feel that it flies above their head, that they could disrespect the community, well, that is where the problem lies. And let us be honest about it. Nobody gives a rat's whatever if one of those people in Brooklyn want to suck up with the PPP and for deals. That's their business. But do not disrespect the community. I think there was a sportscaster recently who, what he did, he started to speak. And he said, and let me get, I just made a note of what he said. Yeah. Stephen A. Smith recently had to apologize for remarks on Black people supporting Donald Trump. He apologized for remarks of Black people supporting Donald Trump. Those of you who read that article, assuming that you did, would know why he apologized. He apologized, right? He apologized for one simple reason. Here's why he apologized. He apologized for one simple reason. And now let me show you guys this comment coming from an Azraddin Mohammed. I suspect that it's somebody being mischievous, right? Now, y'all know my position with Azraddin Mohammed and them and all manner of stuff. Y'all know my position with them. But you could tell this is a fake page because Azraddin Mohammed's page doesn't have him standing there with a gun next to his side. Now, that's his photo, yes. But right away, I know it's mischief here. And y'all ain't gonna trap me with this mischief. I have my position, on the Mohammeds who are said to be under investigations by U.S. law enforcement. But this person ain't gonna set me up. This is not about Azraddin Mohammed today. So this has got to be a fake account. If it's not a fake account, then I'll have to deal with it accordingly. No, it's fake. It's fake. Yeah, but here what they're doing now. A fake page with Azraddin Mohammed. Jack, they should have never pardoned you by. I mean, once you see at the end, it says, bye. Hey, bye. He should never pardon you by, right? So the handlers of Azraddin Mohammed, I'm going to have to say whether this is his page. If this is his page enough, well, I will respond to it accordingly. But I'll ignore it for now. I'll just ignore it for now, right? Yeah, Laverne Joseph, y'all know we don't make joke with that. I suspect that to be a fake page. Let's not be distracted. Oh, yeah, what? Pardon. So let's get back to you jail somebody for 5 years, lock them up against their will, put them in solitary confinement, and you're suddenly God. That you wake up one morning, I'm gonna pardon him. Get the hell out of here. Trench crappos indeed. So Stephen A. Smith apologized. This is what Stephen H. Smith said. That he gave the impression, and he was bold about it, that he is speaking on behalf of all Black people in America, that they are supporting Donald Trump. He had to go and apologize quickly. Otherwise, they would have boycotted him and they would have called for him to get off the air. But you see how quickly he apologized, right? Now let's contrast it with what these guys have said. Listen, let's go back to the Hills restaurant in Brooklyn. The Hills restaurant in Brooklyn. They need to apologize too. But listen to them.
Take responsibility. We want you to look out for us. We do not want no segregation. No. We are one people. And if we're going to do it, let's do it together. Because we have respect for you. Thank you.
All right, President. All right, President.
Now, you heard what the proprietress of the Hills, you heard that? We have respect for you. Who? You're not speaking for me. You're not speaking for the people of Brooklyn, the Guyanese community. No, you're not. Speak for yourself. We have respect for you. No. We have respect for you. Come on, give us a break. Give us a major break. Some trench crappers coming out. Some of them with fake pages, right? We know the bumps raising and it tickling them. The truth is tickling them. Don't be fooled. The truth is tickling them. Why you think they spend? The PVP spent hundreds of millions of dollars to come to us. Hundreds of millions of your tax dollars to go after us. And they're not succeeding. They are panicking. They are confused. That is what's happening right now. So we're not concerned. We're not bothered by them. Now, let's go back. So right away, Stephen A. Smith had to apologize. But yet you got the proprietress of Hills restaurant there in Brooklyn is speaking, is purporting to be speaking on our behalf. We have respect for you. We who? Not me. Me not get respect for anybody who disrespect and violate human rights of people, who strangulate people based on their policies of economic genocide against the people of Guyana. That is what's happening. So not me. You think the proprietress of what is it, the Hills, was speaking for you? You guys tell me. You think she was speaking on your behalf when she said we? It's like saying we the people, we have respect for you. No. She needs to apologize for that. Listen again.
Take responsibility. We want you to look out for us. We do not want no segregation. No. We are one people. And if we're going to do it, let's do it together. Because we have respect for you. Thank you.
Woo, the clapping. This is where they get the clapping from. And they went to that restaurant, Palm and Steve, and they did some clapping. He went into the people's kitchen. Nasty hand. Okay, good. Now that we're getting the points over and over, so you guys can get an understanding. So when they, of course, I know you guys already know what's happening. That is why Irfan Ali went back to Guyana, and with a greeting, and they invaded, walked in, rushed into people's businesses. Look, if you are going to visit businesses, do it in a respectful manner. You all know that. How would you feel if Gavin Caesar, Wayne Caesar, Patricia Asana, Onasa Ward, and Mary Ann Hamilton, walking in with me, because, you know, you have to walk in. No, and you just barge into somebody's business and you're taking pictures and videotaping everything. How would you feel about that? And that is how they have disrespected those businesses in Brooklyn. Well, most of the businesses they disrespected. So now, Morna, Morna, good morning, how are you? Now, let's break it down. How this whole thing happened and how most of them are trying to deny and trying to say that no, they didn't know anything. And that's why a couple of them, we fell out. I'm part of a group to rename Utica Avenue. And these are some people, no, Mark don't do nothing. I heard one, but he could hardly talk, saying, Mark don't even support, he never support the Hills. He never buy anything there, he never go in there. Where was that person, including the madman in Guyana, when I used to support the Hills? I used to be there. Anaka Bear. I went there on several occasions. The Hills is not now the Hills open, you know. I used to go to the Hills. And I went down in the basement and I used to play domino. And then they get upstairs and I could tell you all about the Hills. So for any person who doesn't know what they're talking about, probably some newcomer who just started to go to the Hills. I used to go to the Hills when it was owned by Randy. How many of you know Randy and all these things? Oh, man. Oh, there's what you're going to do to me? You're going to do that to me? Find some other excuse. And even though I haven't gone to the Hills in a couple of years now, I still recommend the Hills and other places in Brooklyn. Am I going to do that now? No, I'll be very cautious with certain businesses. Very cautious. So don't go certain line with me. Yeah, I went to the Hills. I went to the Hills and the Valley and all. I went to the Hills. Randy, where is Randy? When Randy moved out from the Hills and started his own Hills, another business. I can't recall the name. I've gone to Randy's business where he went further, probably close to Glenwood Road or somewhere else. So I know. Y'all don't talk things y'all don't know. I am not against Doris for any personal reason. All I'm saying is Doris and others have disrespected the community by bringing a man like Irfan Ali, which has nothing to do with his race, nothing to do with his ethnicity, certainly not, but because of how they treat people in Guyana. Mainly their treatment towards persons of African descent. I have made my point lucidly clear. Who doesn't understand what I have said? I'm not speaking in another language. I'm not speaking gibberish that you guys don't understand. And even if you guys want me to speak in gibberish, I can do it too. Ebay, wabas abap wabap yubu gabais. Yubu gabais dobot aban abas taban wabot abay jabas sebe debe. Webel hebay. Mibi kapan repeat. Mibi sebel. Dubu yubu aban nabas taban wabo mibi jabas sebe debe. Abay yubu stabo gobo babay debe hebils. Mebe nibi yibir sabo. Mibi dobot habab ebe nibi tebing pabor sabu nabal abo agibit abo. Right? So is it what they want me to speak gibberish for them so that they can understand aban nabas taban? Debis ibis dabar ibis aban abay. Abat debe Hills. This is Doris and I at the Hills. And I wish to make this clear with those who want to jump to conclusions to think that there is anything personal against Doris. Absolutely not. What I'm saying is that they have disrespected the Guyanese community by bringing Irfan Ali into the community, majority of Guyanese of African descent, when in fact he is disrespecting persons of African descent in Guyana. And look, right after that happened, look what he went back to Guyana. Look what happened right back there, and disrespecting persons, mainly again, persons of African descent. Disrespecting them. But no. Nobo. Mabar, shabot, hibis mabaut. Allow everything to happen. So what Irfan they're attempting to do, they want everybody to praise them. Everybody. And because you don't do that, you are bad. Everybody is bad. IPADG, the African organization, is bad. Lincoln Lewis is bad for them. Dr. David Hines is bad for them. Kadaki is bad for them. Wayne Caesar is bad for them. Rickford Burke is bad for them. Norman Brown is bad for them. Clinton Hollingsworth is bad for them. Otto Martin is bad for them. And the little scrawly one, Ben Sharp, is bad for them. Racist, separatists, not separatists, separatists. All these, that's how Alice were. All of us, notice the trend, guys. Notice the trend for speaking the truth. We bad for them. And so we must just sit by and allow all these things to happen, and we must not say a word. And when we say a word, we are being branded as racist, as not loving. Yeah, look, we love everybody. Everybody we love, man. Everybody we love. When I look across my family tree, my table, everybody there. As Duncan would say, we there, right? Everyone is there. African roots, indigenous roots, Indian roots, East Indian roots, that is, Portuguese roots, everybody is there. We there. I come from a melting pot, my family, everybody. Who in Portuguese, who in Amerindian, who in East Indian, everybody there. We there. So don't bring that racial nonsense to me. And when you want to talk about racial nonsense, somebody laughing, Scrawly Ben. Yeah, Scrawly Ben, sharp. It's okay. It's okay. And that is what they call us. That is what they described us. Some of them, like the madman, were up on social, what is it, Facebook, calling themselves the realest mad thing in Guyana. Could hardly read and write. Have no experience with things. And these are people who wants to big up the chest and talk to people anyhow. I know the likes of them. Peanut brains. Can't comprehend. But yet they tell themselves that they're powerful and they're big and really? So wait. Anybody who speaks out against them is bad, is racist. It's a racist something. They don't see that we stand up against injustices for everyone. For me, it doesn't matter your race. It doesn't matter if you swing south. It doesn't matter if you make a U-turn. It doesn't matter to me. And so for these people, they have nothing else to do. They want to paint you as though you're racist. Everybody is a racist for them as long as you do not. And that's the message they want to. And when you don't join in with them and their nonsense, right, you become bad. They feel that they have the power to lecture you, just as how Irfan Ali thought that he was in a position to lecture a senior politician. Lecture a senior politician in the United States of America. He is in a very senior, holds a very powerful position in Washington, D.C., and by extension, the entire United States of America. Y'all know that guy's name, right? Irfan Ali feels he wants to lecture. Let me lecture you, Congressman Hakeem. That is what they want to do. They feel that every person of African descent, they got to talk down to, they got to lecture them. And then when you push back and say, hey, no. You're wrong for that. You're bad for that. And that's what they do. And you know what is hurting the country? It's not people like me who talk. It is good. Any healthy democracy would have people who speak out. Any healthy democracy. But you've got to be consistent too in this process. It is healthy. Not when you have a so-called government and people speak out. Then you get vexed and your bums raised. You want to kill them. You want to jail them. You want to chase them out of the country. And all these manner of things. You do that under the PPP regime. And we shouldn't talk. We should just sit by and allow these things to happen. Sit back. No, we're not going to do that. And so that is why I'm saying those folks in Brooklyn, they need to apologize. They need to do that, and quickly too. Now, this is a report, and it's an article written by Tangerine Clark. I'm not sure which paper, but this was sent to me. Thanks to the sender. Now look, it says here, Community Board 17 District Manager Sharif Barker. Now, some of you may want to ask, who is Sharif Barker? Well, this is Sharif Barker right there next to Irfan Ali. That's her. That's her right there next to Irfan Ali. And as I've said before, she is the one who called myself and others in a conference call, including Doris, and to give me the impression that Irfan is going to be, and the call came in just around 11 o'clock Friday morning. Oh, I got to go. I'm busy. Irfan Ali will be here. He'll be at the Hills for 12 o'clock. And so, okay, I said, look, this is nonsense anyways, and I hung up. So that's Sharif Barker, who gave the impression that she just found out. But that's okay. People will give you all sort of impression. But this is what the article is saying here now. Community Board 17 District Manager Sharif Barker, who along with Claire Patterson Mona and James Richmond, I don't know how the writer didn't put Pastor James Richmond, but they put just James Richmond, that's it. Organized the Brooklyn Walkabout. Now, come on, English language. They organized this walkabout. And so my argument in the beginning of all of this here a couple of days ago was that this wasn't something that was just a last minute 1 hour something, that I was given that impression. According to Tangerine Clark, who wrote this article, I believe it's probably in the Caribbean Life newspaper, I'm not sure, right? So now here, let's go back. Community Board 17 District Manager Sharif Barker, who along with Claire Patterson Mona and James Richmond. Who is James Richmond? Here he is with Irfan Ali. That's James Richmond. He is there with Irfan Ali. That's him right there with Irfan Ali. And according to this article, that, and again I read it, Community Board District Manager Sharif Barker, who along with Claire Patterson Mona and James Richmond organized the Brooklyn Walkabout. They said it. I'm not the one who's saying it, but when I alluded to that a couple days ago, some of them bumps raised, they get vexed with me. Some of them threatening, oh, you got to withdraw this and you got to do this and my integrity and all sort of things, or I will sue you. And it's just a try. You're going to threaten people? Is just a try? Just a try? Like if I'm supposed to tremble, right? Look. And Tangerine Clark was there with them. She was there with them and she wrote. Right? She wrote. Now, let me continue. Community has been trying, and they're saying here, these are the guys. That's according, mind you. I'm not saying it now. This is according to Tangerine Clark, who wrote this article for the newspaper, that these folks organized the Brooklyn Walkabout. Said the community has been trying to get the commander-in-chief, they put chief there, no? All right, chief, to visit the community for a long time. A long time. I'm aware of that for a long time. And every time they mention with some nonsense, I'm the one who says no. Okay, good. Now let's move on. It was fitting that they mentioned him as President Ali. It was fitting that Ali stopped by Kings County to say thanks for the collaboration, since the facility has been instrumental in assistance of Guyana with patients in the cancer center for quite some time. That has nothing to do with Ali. Nothing. They have a cancer institute in Guyana that's not funded, underfunded, and all manner of things. But they're going to come here to hoodwink people that he had to stop at Kings County to say thanks. Who wants to hear a thank you? People who go there and other places do it privately. Some people have to ask for donation just for their loved ones to come up this end and so forth. So there's no need for Irfan Ali to stop to say thank you. Anyways, that was said That was Sharif Barker who said that. She is a city worker for almost 40 years. Okay, for almost first 40 years. And then we had to go into what she does. I quote here, I oversee service delivery to this district. I play a very important role. Everybody wants to say that they play a very important role. People who play important roles don't go out there and say they play an important role, but that's another story. I play a very important role, not only for Guyanese, but for everyone that lives in the community, said Barker, who thanked Irfan Ali for his visit to the borough, for his visit to the borough. Thank him on her own behalf, not our behalf in the community. And that is why I'm objecting to this entire visit. And Sharif Barker needs, in my opinion, needs to apologize to the community. Because if you're thanking Irfan Ali, thank him on your own behalf. Or is it that you're thanking him on behalf of all the people within the district? And whose permission? Is this something that was permitted? Is it something that was sanctioned by Community Board 17? So if it wasn't sanctioned by Community Board 17, then Sharif Barker should be thanking Irfan Ali on her own behalf and not on behalf of people from the district, unless this here and her involvement was sanctioned by Community Board 17. Now let's move on to some other stuff. Let me read some of your comments. Some of the trench crappos are with us. But if you're going out to eat in Brooklyn, be careful as to where you go. Spend your money. Be wise about spending your money. Nothing is wrong with that. And so some of them are vexed because we say this, and they feel that it's a black on black thing and we're destroying black people's business. No, we're not about that. At least I'm not about that. It's about strengthening people's business, and business people have to be conscious about the political surrounding and politicians who are hurting people. That is what this is about. So Irfan Ali, they thought they were going to barge into Brooklyn, take a couple of photographs, and mind you, here is how this whole thing was planned. They had a meeting on Thursday night around 8:30 at the Guyana Consulate, and they also had prepared a WhatsApp group discussing and planning the event. They had a WhatsApp group to plan this event, and they had a meeting. They had a meeting at the Guyana Consulate Thursday night around 8:30 to discuss the planning of this walkabout in Brooklyn. Some of them in the meeting, one particular one said, but you don't come, every time you come to New York, you don't come to Brooklyn. You got to come to Brooklyn. Now, fair enough. If Ali was serious about a proper meeting in Brooklyn and respect the people in Brooklyn, Guyanese community, then he would have been brave enough to have a town hall meeting. But no, they decided to do the easy way out, the smart people, and just walk in, take a couple photographs, rush back out, get to Guyana, and make a political ad with it. And so after they had this meeting at the Guyana Consulate, according to a source, at 8:30 Thursday night, the final decision, the confirmation, because remember they had to get extra security and these sort of things, the confirmation that the walkabout will take place was done at 8:30 Friday morning. So a lot of these people who say that they didn't know and they didn't this, most of them knew. Most of them were part of the plan the day before. Some of them contacted business people to ask whether it was okay. Some business people said no, and those business people who said no, that they're really not about that. Their business is open, yes, people could go and shop, but they're not really about that. And kudos to those business people. So this whole notion about people didn't know and all, they knew, most of them knew what they were up to disrespect the community, the Guyanese community in Brooklyn. But like Sharif Barker according to this article by Tangerine Clark, said here, it was fitting that Ali stopped by, whatever. What is that? That organized the Brooklyn Walkabout said the community has been trying to get the commander-in-chief to visit. What community? You see, there we go again, that these folks are misleading. They said the community. They didn't say they were trying to, and I want some of the detractors to understand English language. And that is why Stephen Smith, A. Smith, who had to apologize, it's kind of like the same thing he said about Trump. And he had to apologize. But here it is, we have the manager of District 17, District 17 is saying, look, it's right here, according to Tangerine Clark's article. This is not propaganda I'm spreading. They're saying that the community has been trying to get the commander-in-chief to visit the community for a long time. Come on now, guys. Aren't they purporting to be speaking on behalf of the community? Who in the community? Not the entire community. These are the people who can safely say, if they want to say, that they have been trying to get Irfan Ali to go to Brooklyn. They can say that. And of course, I have much more to say about that, but not now. They can say that, but they cannot say the community has been trying to get. No. Speak for yourself, Miss Barker. Speak for yourself, Miss Claire Patterson Mona and James Richmond. Y'all speak for yourself, not the community. Now I want to talk about those who now talking about the boycott. And that's how boycotts are a bad thing. You can't do that. This is not about people's political views, you know. And I repeat, it is not about people's political views. It's about the disrespect of members within the community who have loved ones back home who are being disrespected, who are being treated badly, who are being treated worse than third-class citizens in their own country, Guyana. That is what this is about. It is not because some of them might be leaning towards a peace. That's their business. Who cannot understand that? Who cannot understand that? When you have a business in Guyana that is owned by an Indian person, Guyanese descent, and they do something disrespectful towards the Black community, African Guyanese community, and you say, boycott that business, they said is racism. Is racism. And then when you do it now towards some of the African business people who are being disrespectful towards the community, you're hearing you're black and black and you don't want black people. So there's always an excuse for something. Yeah, sorry about that. There's always an excuse for something, especially with regards to the truth. Now, let me talk about those now who are talking about, they're trying to sound nice and fancy, you know. They're trying to be politically correct about, oh, no, you can't attack those businesses. People have a right. We all know that. Nobody is saying people don't have a right. Have I said that before? Is that what this is about? No, it's not about that. Thank you so much to Nadia. People have a right to boycott. Boycott has been going on for decades now. It's nothing new. It's not a crime. It has nothing to do with racism. People boycott for a variety of reasons. And this boycott call for some businesses in Brooklyn is for a particular reason. And in my opinion, and I'm certain majority of you would agree, it is for a justifiable reason that the community feels, members of the community, majority of the members, I'm almost certain that I speak on behalf of the majority, felt as though they were disrespected. And all they want is an apology. to say, look, there was a misjudgment, and therefore, based on that and a misunderstanding, I wish or we wish to clarify X, Y, and Z in order to continue a good relationship with members who form most of your customers in that community, and say, I am sorry for the misunderstanding. I know how you feel, but I am sorry. This is not what I meant. This was in goodwill or whatever. Whatever. You can't be bullies and then disregard how people feel in the community. And then when people say they're not going to shop from you or buy from you any longer, you get vexed and you feel that it's a direct attack on you because of your political affiliation. No, it is an attack on you because of your disrespect to the community. Now, let me say this here. I've noticed comments from folks like James Bond. Oh, no, this is wrong, and you can't do that, you can't. It's all just to sound nice. Just to sound nice. And let me remind Mr. Bond, James Bond, let me remind him that not so long ago, you guys remember Kashif and Shanghai? You guys remember Hits and Jams? And you guys remember who were the set of people calling for Hits and Jams to be boycotted? You guys remember who called for Kashif and Shanghai and so forth to be, and it was very effective. Yes, it was very effective. What happened now? I don't have a cup of tea or anything to drink right now as I read your comments and ask, what happened now? If it was good then, if it was justifiable then to call for a boycott against Hits and Jams, and then Jam Zone, and then Kashif and Shanghai, it was justifiable then. But suddenly, it's not justifiable now. All manner of excuses why it's not justified. But you noticed? And this was in 2011, 2012. It was justifiable then. And look, hey, wait a minute. This is what was said then. And I quote, this was from Kaitor News. The Stabroek News back in 2011. I quote here, after this, the tempo will be upped. The tempo will be upped. No more Hits and Jams. After this, no more Kashif and Shanghai. End of quote. Bond said, while charging that the football tournament organizer, Kashif Mohammed, had proudly shared his preference for the PPPC at the just concluded general elections. Hits and Jams, meanwhile, has also been closely linked with the PPP government. Oh, gosh, what happened? What's going on here? Sorry, guys, I'm not dancing. What's going on here? So now people feel hurt. The community in Brooklyn, the Guyanese community in Brooklyn, are hurt. And so they're expressing themselves. And suddenly, it's a bad thing, right? It's a bad thing. But when folks were calling for Kashif and Shanghai, boycott. Sorry about the hand movement, Andrea. Boycott. Hits and Jams, boycott. Jam Zone, boycott. It was okay then. But it ain't okay now, right? It ain't okay now. Suddenly, all sorts of justifiable reason. Oh, in a subtle way, we are bad. We are bad people now. We are attacking people because of their political affiliation. No, we are not. It has nothing to do with that. Unlike what happened back then. Look at what the call for boycott back then was about. Sorry for my tone of voice, guys. Look at what it was about. Because Kashif, the organizer of Kashif and Shanghai, Mohammed, had proudly shared his preference for the PPPC regime and right away boycott because of his political preference. That is what that was all about. And the call for boycott of Jam Zone back then was as a result of their political affiliation, nothing else. This call for boycott against some of those folks in Brooklyn is not as a result of their political affiliation. It is as a result of their insensitivity towards the African Guyanese community in Brooklyn. That is what it's about. And I just want to make that clear, pellucidly clear. And this has nothing to do with restarting, Bond and Ben Shop. No, Bond issued a statement, obviously condemning the actions that we have called for boycott in Brooklyn of some businesses. And I'm just merely reminding that, say, hey, wait a minute, not so fast, not so fast. Now let's move on. I noticed James Richmond is here. James Richmond, if you want to come on air, feel free. This is a democratic platform. Feel free. James Richmond is saying here, and James and I are friends. We are still friends. We disagree now, but we're still friends. We've been friends for over 30 years. Brooklyn days. We care about our community. Yes, we do. But we should not disrespect the community, James. That is what this is about. I'm speaking to Pastor James Richmond here. We should not disrespect our community. Now, Pastor James Richmond is saying here, I told the writer to correct what is stated, that I was one of the organizers. In other words, now, James Richmond is saying that he is not one of the organizers. He's saying there that he was invited to the walkabout. If I was part of the organizing, I would have insisted for a town hall meeting, as I did when Prime Minister, well, that's his definition, Prime Minister Phillips visited Brooklyn. Feel free to come on the show, James Richmond. If you want to be right here on the show, let us talk. Feel free to do it. But the thing is, though, James, Pastor Richmond, the PPP is not going to attempt to come between us. We go 30 plus years back. Oh, yes. We have disagreements. And I'm publicly disagreeing with you guys because I personally, James Richmond, I personally felt betrayed. For reasons that I've already stated publicly and privately to you. So you now have another issue here that you want this article to be corrected by Tangerine Clark, who said, Tangerine Clark, who is saying this, she was with you guys. She is saying that Community Board 17 District Manager Sherry Barker, who along with Claire Patterson Mona and James Richmond organized the Brooklyn Walkabout. Tangerine Clark said this. She wrote this, not me and propaganda, Pastor Richmond, not me and the propaganda. No, not me. Again, Pastor Richmond, there is no justifiable reason at this time to organize a walkabout or a photo op. None. That's my opinion. A majority of folks within the Brooklyn Guyanese community are aware of that. I am, and look, if James Richmond is still here, do you want to come on the air or not to clear your side of the story up? This ain't got nothing to do with what you have done for others and others and others and so forth. No, no, no. It doesn't have to do with that. But if you want to clear the air up as you claim, feel free. You said that I'm basically being malicious towards you, and feel free. Come and say where, when. Talk to me. In fact, I can call you now so that you can clear the air. I can call you now, Pastor Richmond. I can call you now, right now. How many of you guys want me to call him right now? How many of you guys want me to call him right now? Right now. Right now. Let me hear you say yes or thumbs up. Right now. Y'all love a session, eh? Everybody holler, me. All right. Somebody probably already reached out and said, hey, don't take the call. Don't take the call, buddy. Don't take the call. James is still my friend. We disagree, yes. I don't throw friends in the corner just like that. I disagree with them, yeah. And if they want to stick around, they could stick around. But let me call. Let me see what's going on. I know it. Let me see if you can answer. Good morning, Pastor Richmond. How are you, sir? By the way, you're live on the air. As you should know, you're live on the air. Good morning. Yeah, I did. By the way, you're live on the air, as you're aware. I did see your comment here in response to what Tangerine Clark wrote in the papers, saying that Community Board District 17 manager Sharif Baker, or Barker, sorry, who along with Claire Patterson and Patterson Monasari and James Richmond organized the Brooklyn Walkabout. You are saying that that is incorrect.
That is incorrect. I don't know who the organizers were. When I was invited, I was calling invited. When I got there, I was asking for the itinerary so that I would get a sense as to where we will be going. And that was not, I was told it would be text to me. And so when we left Kings County, I asked again when we get to the radio station, I said, where is the itinerary? And then I was told, man, I'm going to text it to you. I said, look, we need a town hall meeting. The same way when Mark Phillips came, I helped organize that, right? And we insisted on having a town hall meeting, no matter how short, so that the people can ask their questions. I said, we need a town hall meeting. Man, it's too short, it's too short. I said, look, you all invited me. We should have a town hall meeting. And the itinerary wasn't sent to me. I was invited. I was not an organizer. Otherwise, I would have organized it differently.
So why are these folks saying then Tangerine Clark listed you there as one of the organizers?
And so I called her and I told her she need to correct her newspaper language because I don't know about organizing. I don't know who were the organizers. I was called and invited.
And then somebody else also, I believe they alluded, because I asked the question specifically, are you aware that there was a meeting around 8:30 at the Guyana Consulate Thursday night? And if so, were you either physically at that meeting or on the phone?
I was not there. I was not on the phone or anything. I was called again. I'm going to say it. I was called about 12 midnight. I was in my bed and the phone woke me up. And the question was, would you be available to do a walkabout with the president in Brooklyn and Queens? I said, with president. They said, Ali. I said, let me call you back because I have some schedule in the morning. Let me call you back. I checked my schedule and I called another good friend who is a friend of yours as well. I called him. He said, look, if you can clear your schedule, this is what you do all the time. You engage both sides. And I think with you being there, it will be good. So I hung up the phone and I called them back. I said, okay, let me talk back to the president. I said, okay, sir, I will be there. He said, the car will pick you up 9 o'clock in the morning and bring you to my hotel. I said, okay. And that's all I knew about it.
So you knew, okay, so you knew about this all along. You know how important these things are to me and people like me who would probably want to have a nice little protest. Do you think that you deliberately kept that from me?
No, I didn't deliberately. I call your best friend.
Forget about my best friend.
Our best friend.
Forget about
our best friend.
Forget about our best friend. You didn't call me.
No, I didn't call you.
Is there any reason? Is there any reason why you thought?
No, I didn't. I wasn't even thinking about you at that time. I was just thinking whether I should go or not based on whatever. And I called our best friend, who you blanked out from the call. I called our best friend, and we had some discussions. Now, and that's all about it.
Yeah, but you did call me after 11 or minutes to 11, right?
No, I did not call you after 11. Sheriff made a call on our Guyana Avenue chat. You answer, and our best friend answered, then I answered.
And somebody else didn't answer. Your other best friend didn't answer too. Too many best friends.
Your best friend and my best friend.
So let me ask, what do you think was the purpose of that call at the last minute to me? I'm just curious.
I will not speculate. The person who made that call will have to give you that answer. I will not speculate. But the call came in and we all answered. And I said I was already with the president. But that's, if you can recall.
But you called me also.
I called you after that. After that, I called you concerning Guyana Avenue, our co-naming Utica Avenue to Guyana Avenue. That's what I called you about because our best friend, we had a conversation there again. And he said, seeing that the president is going to Brooklyn, there are XY things that we could probably do in lieu of the Guyana Avenue. And so I called you then to get your take on it.
And what was my take?
You said you objected.
Yeah, thank you. Now, let me ask you this, James. We go way back. We go way back as friends. And you know how I feel about...
30 years.
Yeah, you know how I feel about the disrespect of Guyanese. But more so, the blatant disrespect against persons of African descent in Guyana. And that it will be disrespectful. This is not the first attempt to have Irfan Ali or the PPP folks in Brooklyn. It's not the first, right?
I don't know about any other attempt. All I know, I was called and I looked at it carefully as to engagement, how it could maybe take the opportunity to talk to him in a way to address the issues and concerns of Black people in Guyana. I took that opportunity because I didn't go to Guyana to see him. And I thought I wouldn't see him no other time. So I took the opportunity to, and I had that conversation. I shared my views on the concern, because as you know, Mark, my great niece was the one who sang that calypso with the teachers. And I've been talking to them. So I wanted to raise issues face to face, which I did.
Let me ask you something, James.
That's how I operate.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask you something. How do you feel about a regime that is being disrespectful towards, mainly, it's not that they're not being disrespectful towards other citizens, but they're blatant disrespect to persons of African descent. Look at what they've done to the people of Mocha. Look at what they've done to the people of, in other places. Look at what they're currently doing to the vendors along the...
What they did yesterday as well.
How do...
Right?
1 second.
And what they did yesterday there in Georgetown.
1 second, sir.
Right?
1 second. How do you feel about those things and associating yourself with somebody who has no regards and no respect for your people?
Right. The first part of the question is, what do I feel?
How do you feel?
If I decided to be not as Christian as I would have been out there more than you in that manner to attack this situation. And the opposition should be out there.
But 1 second, forget about the opposition now. One second, Pastor, 1 second. But your Christian setting would teach you to take a stand, take a position against injustice. Go ahead.
Mark, I'm a Christian guy, and so I prefer dialogue. And so that is what I chose to do, talk about these issues with the person who perpetuates this stuff. That, look, it is wrong. You need to change the black people are the ones who built Guyana. Look, my great-great-great-grandfather walked out of slavery in 1838 when Indians arrived as indentured servants. I still own lands from what he bought in 1845. I understand that we built Guyana. But then the reality of the thing is, you have to dialogue in this situation, or as one friend told me, you take up arms. I am for dialogue. I must dialogue and express my anger and said it is wrong, face to face. That's what I do. I don't run around and shout and curse down. That's not me. I face to face confront somebody and said, what can you do to address this situation? It is terrible.
But let me ask you this. One second.
I cannot operate like you.
1 second. 1 second, please.
Or
Can
other
I?
people.
1
My
second.
operation,
1 second.
I will talk directly face to face with the person
1 second.
and talk to them.
1 second, sir. How many times have you spoken to Irfan Ali on these issues?
About 4 times.
4 times.
4 opportunities that I had.
4 times you spoke to him about this, about the
on
same
different issues pertaining to black people.
but about the same subject matters, about treatment of persons of African descent. 4 times, based on your recollections. Have you seen any improvement?
I have not seen any improvement.
So why continue? Why continue to have dialogue?
I will continue to dialogue.
No. Look, I'm not saying that whether you should. I'm asking why.
Mark, because there must be an answer in the positive at some time. I will continue until it's changed. I must dialogue. I cannot do anything else.
Let me ask you. Of course you can. Of course you can. Here, as a Christian.
I am not a radical. I will continue talking and advocating in a way that I do and said, please, you have to address these issues.
Whilst Rome continues to burn, and your people, your ancestors, you're not
differently.
You're not listening.
All right?
I understand that.
You can do it your way.
1 second.
Other people could do it their way. I choose to dialogue.
1 second, sir. 1 second. Nobody's saying that they're not in for dialogue. Please don't get me wrong. But are you going to dialogue all your life and the same thing over and over?
You caught me. It's an important issue, but you caught me when I'm babysitting.
That's all right. I'm babysitting too. Come, Jagdale, Marat. I'm babysitting too. Before you go, though, you said you're not a radical, but you're a Christian, and I respect that. It's okay. What if Jesus Christ will continue having dialogue with the money changers?
Well, you go along with that dialogue. I'm not going to go into that. I'm not going to get into that. I'm saying I can go and preach a sermon on that, but I'm not going to go into that. All I'm saying, I believe in dialogue, in finding a solution.
Oh, there is no solution. There is absolutely. That's okay. That's absolutely. James, we're not here. With all due respect, we know you're a former policeman. You're a former nurse. We know all of that. And plus, you're babysitting.
I'm a former young bodyguard for Borno.
But that is all irrelevant at this time.
Listen to me.
I was a pastor. I was a pastor in Camp Street Prison too. But that is not the issue. That is not the issue. That is not the issue right now. Quickly before you go, because you're babysitting.
Mark, I could take a radical view.
But 1 second. One second.
No radical view.
1 second. Before you go,
I will dialogue.
Before you go, do you believe that at some point in time, there should be some apology to the Guyanese community in Brooklyn, who most of them feel that they were insulted?
From whom?
From you and others.
From me? Why don't you apologize to them, seeing that you're looking for... You need to apologize to me, right? And you and I will talk off camera.
No. We'll talk publicly. Apologize to you for what? Let's talk right now. And if, 1 second.
Blowing up my name about the place there. You need to apologize.
Blowing up your name about what?
We have been friends for too long for you to be so...
1 second. No. Blowing up your name for what?
You should have called me and let's talk.
No,
that
but
you brought my name and writing up. Nothing is factual there.
what
Everything
have
is
I said?
convoluted.
1 second, 1 second. What have I personally said about you that is not factual?
Take that, all that. Don't do that. Yeah, Mark, I don't have time.
What have I personally said about you that is not factual? Tell me now, and I will apologize to you right now on the air. Right now. Tell me.
I have to go back because I have to go back to what you put there.
Tell me.
And I have
Yesterday
my
you wrote
grandson
something
in one hand,
wrong about
the
it.
other hand, and
You
I
shouldn't
look-
have to go.
and
James.
you called me just like when I was doing something. but no.
Pastor James, you don't have to go back. You wrote about it many times yesterday. Tell me what it is that I said that was so hurtful or that was wrong about
Let me
you,
go- let me-
and
let me
I
go to
will
the page.
apologize right now on the air.
Let me go to
Tell
your
me.
page.
Tell me, and I will apologize right now.
I'm going to your page. One minute.
Sure.
No,
I'm
no,
waiting.
Sit down, sit down, sit down. No, don't move. Sit.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, sit. One moment, sit. One moment. No, just now.
Tell me, and let me do with it.
I'm looking for this
That's
back
okay.
because you caught me at a time when I was taking care of this little child.
That's okay. That's
And,
okay. That's okay, James.
no.
You caught me so many times when I'm taking care of my little ones too.
No, but you have me live on your show.
That's
That
okay. My
I
little
do
ones
have
come.
you live on it.
My little ones come live on my show too.
Let me see. No, sit before you fall. Sit down. No, don't move. Oh, okay. You first you talk about Sherry Fraser and James Richmond. They clearly inform you. Okay, to inform you, you put the call out at 10:40. I called you to before you check with me, or you could have seen that I did not call you on that WhatsApp call.
Mr. Richmond, I
That's
said
one.
you guys, we were all participant of a conference
No,
call.
you didn't say nothing but participant. You made it. You said you received from Sheriff and Pastor James Richmond, and they claimed to inform you of it from Ali Circus in Brooklyn.
James, there's English language
And I
here.
didn't call you about that.
Let me ask
I
you
did not.
something. Let me ask you this. When I picked up the phone, who were the participants on the line?
When I picked up the call, you were on, and the other person that you blacked out was on.
I picked up the call and it was you and Sharif. We were the three participants. One second. We, one second. One second. We were the three.
It's right there. It's on the list.
We were the three
the
only.
incoming, the call, the other name you blocked out, and my name.
The other names that were blocked, the name that was blocked out was not party to the conversation. You,
the person
Barker,
was on the call. That person was on the call.
1 second. You, Barker, and I were the only participants in that call. Where is the lie?
Person was on the call.
Where is the lie?
The person was on the call, and you said, you received a call from Sheriff and Pastor James.
I got a call from you
received
guys.
A call from
It was a conference
You
call. I
received
got a
call
call.
from Sheriff. You received a WhatsApp call from Sheriff that was connected to you and James Richmond and whoever else on the call.
Fair enough.
I did not call you.
You were a participant. Whether you called or not, you were a participant to the call.
Yes,
Outside of that,
what you should have said, I'm a participant.
I said there were
but
three.
You said you received it
I
from me.
said there were
You said you
three
received it from me.
participants. Look,
You
James,
need to change it to participant and not receive.
James,
Well, change it to participant and
James,
not receive.
your bumps is raising. Don't allow your bumps to raise in this situation.
No, change it to participant.
Oh, no.
That is what you need to
Outside of
apologize.
that, what else you're asking for apology on? What else?
I'm looking for that.
Okay. Yeah. And I can't believe they say participants of a call. I got a what kind of thing is this? Let me hear what else.
I have to check this stuff again because I'm busy with this young man. And then we talk about it.
Okay, so you don't think there's a need for you to apologize to the community?
For what?
For what?
So doing what I usually do and give exposure.
No,
to both
yeah, I
sides,
know. All
to
right,
talk to
you
the
got to
people.
babysit Babysit, and we'll talk later because you can't find anything else to pinpoint on me that I've said that is wrong.
Because I cannot go.
All right.
My mind is on this child
James,
right now.
James, we've been friends for donkey years. You can't find. You cannot find anything else. You cannot find anything else. Thank you. Have a great day.
There are other things there.
Thank you. No, have a great day. Thank you.
Same to you.
Thank you, sir. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So he's looking for something. He's looking for something. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think happening there? What do you guys think went on there? Right. Oh, man. You guys got to tell me what you think is going on there, man. Seriously. There's absolutely nothing to talk later. There's nothing. Apologize for what? For a bicycle? Is that what we're going to apologize for? Apologize for this? What's going on in Guyana? Apologize for this? What's happening right now? Is that what it is? Apologize for this?
Take responsibility. We want you to look out for us. We do not want no segregation. No. We are one people. And if we're going to do it, let's do it together. Because we have respect for you. Thank you.
All right, President. All right,
because we have respect for you. We who? Ooh. We ooh. Now we who? We ooh. Right? And so I gave the Pastor Richmond the opportunity to say a different version of what I have said. And the only thing he could stick on is that I said he called me. He was part of a call I received when I answered the phone. He was right there. Sharif was right there. We were participants of a conference call on WhatsApp. What is wrong about that? But can he find anything else that he claims he wants me to apologize for? There's nothing else. He should be apologizing to the community, but he doesn't want to. He feels he has done something right. And he's a pastor. Proverbs 3, 3:4 that says what? Lean not on thine own understanding. Is that what it says? Lean not on thine own understanding. And all my friend is doing is leaning on his own understanding. He is right. He is right. He is negotiating. He is having dialogue. He is this. Everything about he is this. He is right. He is right. It sounds like left, right. Kind of like national service. Left, right. He is right. This is what I do. This is what I want. This not a moment stop to say, am I doing what is right? Not a moment for that. Am I really doing what is right? Throughout the conversation is, I want dialogue. How many times are you going to keep having dialogue with someone who keeps doing the same thing over and over? Thank you, Karen Ann. Proverbs 3:5-6. Lean not on thine own understanding, right? That is what it means, that when you do something and you keep interpreting it because of what you feel, how you feel. I asked the pastor about the story about when Jesus Christ and the money changers. You know how many times Jesus Christ had exchanges with those money changers? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. You know what Jesus Christ did to those money changers? He kicked them out. Throw down the table and say, out of here. Go. But no. Pastor James Richmond is going to continue to have dialogue and dialogue and dialogue and dialogue and dialogue and dialogue whilst people are being disrespected and disrespected and disrespected and ill-treated and so forth and so on in Guyana. If dialogue is not bearing any sort of fruit, it's just like if you're planting a coconut tree using the same seed. Sorry, I had to say it like that. Do you expect the results to be different? No, it's going to be a blank coconut tree. Or it's not going to even grow, sorry. It ain't going to bear nothing. There's nothing. You got to find a new seed, or you got to find new ground to dig up, manure and these sort of things. If you, James Richmond, keep talking over and over, having dialogue, as you said, not me. I'm not the one who's probably, you said you were having dialogue. How many times have you had these same sort of talks with your friend Irfan Ali? About 4 times, maybe more. Who knows? Dialogue and dialogue. And people are being brutalized and brutalized and brutalized over and over. And then you feel comfortable having the same dialogue and dialogue and dialogue, and take him into your community for photographs, photo ops, and all these sort of things, and feel that it is okay. It is perfectly fine, right? And nobody should question you, James Richmond, or anybody about these things. Anybody about these things. Anybody. Is that safe? Is that fair? Is that fair? Really? Is that fair? And so when, sorry, I was somebody texted me something. So it's not fair. And so when we talk and we try to get to the bottom of it so that it cannot repeat itself, some people are against us. But these guys are being used, in my opinion, mind you. You think Irfan Ali cares about them? If he can find a way to use them, that is what is going to happen. Nothing else. That is what this is about. The Bible talks about what the Bible talks about. The Bible says when you see an injustice, let's mete it out to your brother or your sister, and you turn a blind eye. Let me hear if some of you know that. When you turn a blind eye, what do you think happened to you? Forget about Francine Cruz. Francine Cruz was just always asking with the church, and the church. I know, like, Francine Cruz just fixated on with the church, with the church, with the church. That's all Francine Cruz asking, with the church, with the church. 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 Sorry about that. And so before we go, though, and people who are talking about boycott, and it is bad and it's racist and it's this and it's that, y'all be careful with those individuals. Not so long ago, Freddie Kissoon, back to Freddie Kissoon. Freddie Kissoon actually had this to say about boycott. I remember Freddie and I about the German's restaurant. Freddie says, if there is a boycott of Mr. Erling's restaurant, I will support it, but with huge condition. The boycott must have context, and the context cannot be Erling's PPP candidacy. It has to be something far more morally questionable. And let me say this. Freddie called for a boycott at a meeting at Starbrook Square, based on my recollection, and what is in the article here. This is what's in the article. During the 2012 campaign to explain the budget cuts, Freddie's admitting here, I spoke at a Starbrook Market Square public meeting where I suggested a boycott of Germans. And then he's claiming he did not repeat it. There might be a different version for that. But Freddie Kissoon has admitted that he called for a boycott of German's restaurant and maybe others. He admitted that that's what he did. But yet, those of us who are doing it now, we're wrong. We're bad for doing it. And when they do it, it's always justifiable. I wouldn't have any of that. When you walk around in Brooklyn, support businesses that are not insensitive towards your struggle and towards what is happening to persons who look like you in Guyana. That's all I'm saying. Is it a crime to say that? No. It's never a crime to say that. But they want to make it appear that it's a crime so that they can paint a picture that we are bad, that we don't mean good, and all manner of things. But look, I want you guys to listen to this brother, a Guyanese of East Indian descent. Listen to him, please. Listen to him.
When the government released all of those contracts, there was a photograph circulating. Most of those contracts related to the families of Guyana politicians them. That is why the ethnic relation community is stepping in and trying to investigate why local Guyanese is not getting these contracts. So check out this businessman exposing everything. Remember, this is Guyanese News. Smash the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment in comment section and become a member of this YouTube channel.
Talk about contracts, right? You see, what I can't understand is the government is saying that they're not corrupted, right? And their ministers are not corrupted. But explain to me this. How, in 1 year time, right? If you have 100 person bidding for different contracts, they're not getting it. But one man is getting 3-4 contracts for 1 year. Explain that to me. How that one person is getting 3-4 contracts for 1 year when other people are bidding for that 1 year for different contract and they're not getting none. Explain that to me. You know why they're not getting it? Because friends and family and cheese. Secondly, the government is saying they are not racist. If you are not racist, right, then explain this to me. If you have majority of black community, the black people in this country, Guyana, right, are teachers and nurses, right? And you do not want to raise the salary and you do not want to give them a good wage or whatever you call it, right? You don't want to give them good salary. You don't want to make their life easier. But you choose to import, to bring Bangladeshi nurses 500, and you choose to give them how much? 1,000 US, I think, a month, and plus free place to stay. But your own Guyanese people, black community, black people in this country, right? You're saying you're not racist, right? Now, you do not want to give your own Guyanese people that support you for the last election, that voted for you, right? Your political party, PPP government. You do not want to give them a good salary. Then what do you call that? That is not racist? What do you call it? Hatred? Explain that to me. If it's not racist.
Okay, that's from Antonio, I believe his name is, Ahmad. Good points made. And look, he's saying nothing different, absolutely nothing different from what we have been saying all along. But when we say it, we are bad people, we are separatists, we are racist, all these things they say about us. It's like throwing water in ducks' back. The truth hurts. The truth hurts. And so the boycott continues until there's an apology from those individuals, those organizers. Some are claiming that they're not organizers, and some have been listed as organizers, but they know who they are. They need to apologize to the entire Guyanese community in Brooklyn. And I'm wondering as I leave now, what is the difference? I repeat, what is the difference with a call for boycott of what is happening now, or what those folks did in Brooklyn? What is the difference between this call now and the call for the boycotting of Kashif and Shanghai and hits and jams back in 2011 and 2012. What's the difference? It's a rhetorical question. What's the difference, right? We've got to be careful, guys. We've got to be consistent on matters of principles. We've just got to be consistent. God bless you all. I'll see you later on this evening. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day.
Here anti-best, here anti-best, here anti-best, Allah. 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 For the morning cock crow, here anti-best, Allah. I see your bundle, there we go, here anti-best, Allah. For the morning cock crow, here anti-best, Allah. I see your bundle, there we go, here anti-best, Allah. Here anti-best, here anti-best, here anti-best, Allah. Here anti-best, here anti-best, here anti-best, Allah. Washa Allah, washa Allah, washa Allah fa. Yesha Allah, here anti-best, Allah. Washa Allah, washa Allah, washa Allah fa. Yesha Allah, here anti-best, Allah. Feel like a morning star. I feel like a morning star. I feel like a morning star. I feel like a morning star.
Hey fans, it's karaoke and oldies night this and every Thursday at Clock Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton. Dance to the magical songs of yesteryear by popular DJs and Camps Audio. Admission is free. Come out, let's make memories at Clock Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton North.